We take our responsibilities very, very seriously. That's in terms of how we give back to society, in terms of working in partnerships with schools and with various charities and making sure that we contribute to local society. My greatest personal worry at the moment, which sits heavily on my shoulders, is the fact that if we see too much port capacity and we see too much dilution of volumes, given the fact there's rationalisation in the industry and all the customers now pretty much fit into three groups. So with the expansion of Port of Singapore at the Rodman site, with Corozal coming along, which may well be Port of Singapore as well, we have to be aware that injecting too much capacity in a soft market will result in consequences. Those consequences that sit on my shoulders are for our employees. If we lose 50% of our business, it's quite likely then that we have to release 50% of our employees. And that's something which I'm fighting vehemently against, something which is very, very close to my heart. Importantly, recent announcements from ACP are that the Port of Corozal will be automated. Automated means that there will be no job for traditionally skilled dock workers, meaning that key cranes and yard cranes will be driven remotely from office locations, requiring a very, very different skill set. Now, importantly, if those jobs are not there for those traditionally skilled dockers, and as I said before, our salary bill is around $87 million a year. There are 4,000 employees directly dependent on the port to support their families. If those jobs are not there, we're going to see a problem in terms of the communities. Communities that don't have sufficient employment opportunities. We will then see a huge problem. And that's why I'm fighting so vociferously to ensure and safeguard the interests of our business. Not only to ensure that there's sufficient returns to invest in the business for the future, the vessels are getting bigger, but also in terms of our employees. And that's a big factor, and that's something which has to be understood and considered. Employees that deliver tax revenues to government, who spend money in communities. We can't take these commitments lightly, and that's why you see us taking every measure possible, whether that be legal, whether that be educating through media exposure, whether that's talking to stakeholders, whether that's being involved in the community. All of these things are consequences and actions which need to be understood ahead of any award to create additional port capacity at a time when it's not required. And most especially, we haven't seen yet the catalyst of the expansion of the canal. A canal which now can take bigger vessels which don't need to stop in Panama. We have to think about the consequences for the entire supply chain.